Well, it gives you great pleasure to have Henning Wehn on this podcast. An absolute honour. Henning is a stand-up comedian who is regularly on our TV and radio screens. Well, not screens on the radio, but TV and on our radios. I don't think there is a panel show that you haven't been on. Is there possibly any out there that you haven't been on?
Oh, I think Celebrity Juice. That's the one that's still on the list.
Oh, is it? You need to scratch that one
That's
off,
on the bucket list. Yeah. Oh, yeah, definitely.
But he's also a regular down the pilot field, which is fantastic. But I mean, before we get into that, Henning, about how you fell in love with Hastings, can I talk a little bit about your comedy? I mean, first of all, growing up in Germany, I'm from the ilk of the old Blackadder, Monty Python, Fawlty Towers, where they kind of suggested that Germans didn't have a sense of humor. What brought you into comedy? Please explain.
So essentially the company I was working for back home in Germany, they were about to go under. Now I looked at my CV and it looked all right, but I didn't speak English other than basic school English. And I thought, let's go to Britain for a few months and learn the language. Then I applied, because I always worked in football. I applied to all the 92 league clubs and ended up with a job in the marketing of Wycombe Wanderers.
Oh, yeah.
And so and then I've been in Blighty for, I don't know, maybe for a year at that point. And then I walked into a pub and they had a sign out saying tonight's stand-up comedy. I never heard of stand-up comedy, but was intrigued. Went to watch it, really enjoyed the concept. And I thought, I wouldn't mind giving that a go myself. So, and then it just all developed from there.
Oh, okay. All right. So, I mean, in terms of, you're obviously, because you're a funny man, you must have had some kind of heroes when you were growing up. Anyone that inspired you or you think influenced your comedy?
I mean, you're always influenced by where you grew up and the value system you were raised in and all that. So, I couldn't really attach any names to it. No, mate. Nah, not really, funnily enough. Not really. There wouldn't be anyone that I was inspired by Germany's Dave Allen or anything like that. No, it was like more everyday life. I knew well, I mean, someone falling over, that's always fun, isn't it? So wherever you are. So, and so and it's more what really appealed to me in everyday life was slapstick, things going wrong. So I always enjoyed watching that.
I mean, who made you laugh then? I mean, like back when you were growing up. I mean, there is, I don't know, there is Otto Walkes, he was good, and Didi Hallerford, and I mean, all them names will mean nothing to anyone other than the German branch of the Hastings United Supporters Association. Yeah. And I'm not sure. I mean, you're telling me there's bloody loads of them in Germany, but somehow I don't believe you, Chris. Well, there is. Robert, I'm going to have to get Robert to get in contact with you. Him and his lads, they go SK Bonn. You might not know who that team is.
Yeah, Sport Club Bonn. Yeah.
SK Bonn, yeah. They're regular attenders there when they can't get to Hastings. Obviously, that pandemic has stopped them slightly, but now that's over. Hopefully.
Oh, they'll be coming over again in their thousands.
Or tens. But
tens
or thousands. Yeah, so what about, like, obviously your English comedy? Because, I mean, you're talking slapstick.
Benny Hill was popular. Benny Hill did travel then. Where have you, Mr. Bean? Something on that. Obviously, that's the kind of humor that travels the easiest because, well, it's physical. So it doesn't rely on you knowing any reference points, or there is no language hurdle. And so therefore all the stuff that's visual works the best. That's why, say you go Covent Garden and watch the performance in Covent Garden, exactly, mimes and all that. Lots of them with their shows, they are from France and God knows where. Probably can't get a straight sentence out in English, but they don't have to. No. They don't have to.
It's physical comedy,
Yeah.
Okay. You've been over here for a number of years. Who would you say is funny now on the circuit? Who are the ones that you just say, like, you know what? I'll walk in there, I know I'm going to be royally entertained or insulted.
Oh, there is so many that are really good in there. Like, I mean, when it's a crowd interaction, you can't get better than Al Murray.
So that is what he does in regards to crowd interaction is absolutely priceless. Well, Stuart Lee, I mean, he gone a bit mad over COVID, but he's still got it. Yeah, so there is no shortage of really good acts.
Yeah.
And the good thing is they all come to the Delaware.
They do, don't they? And I'll see Stuart Lee at the Delaware. What gig was I at? I was at a gig with, I think he was at the Fall. I was watching the Fall play back in London. And my drunk wife, well, she's still my wife, but she was drunk at the time. She was chatting to some guy and I turned around, it's Stuart Lee, and they're both going on about Marquis Smith.
Yeah. You're a big fan of them, Stu. Big fan of them. I've been to the Fall twice with Stu. Once in London, once in the one near Highbury. Oh, I'm not sure what is the venue called. Either way, there was two of them, two in North London. I've seen the Fall twice, and I know who they were. And then Stu said, "Come, you'll enjoy it." And then Marquis Smith, he was just hiding behind one of the big speakers. So essentially, he was never in vision. That was absolutely priceless.
I saw him in Hastings as well. They played Hastings actually, the Fall. But what? Just quick.
They've all played. Everybody's playing on. The whole world played on Hastings here.
They did.
Yeah.
But just a quick sidebar on the Fall. Always fun because I was a massive Fall, but I've got loads of CDs. I've got literally all of their stuff, right? Because I'm a sad fan. And one of the things I used to think was, when Marquis Smith would mess around with the settings, and then he would go off, and then they'd be going into like proper acoustic, like proper going for it, and he wasn't on stage. Like for all of us, we were like, you know what, this is him. He wants that sound out there, and it's all this, and it wasn't. He wanted to go for a piss, and he wanted a fag. That was the only reason he was doing that. And we were like, oh, this is deep, and it's like, no, it's not deep at all. He just needs a wee. But yeah, there you go. Anyway, that on Marquis Smith there. I mean, you're talking about. I'm with you on Stuart Lee. Used to love him. He's still okay, but yeah, it's the modern times. And talking of the modern times, I mean, is it difficult to shape a routine these days? Because we do have, unfortunately, the Twitter police out there. The comedies kind of, there's a lot of people telling people what they can't talk about these days, which to a comedian, you guys are on the front lines on this because.
I think in a live environment, you can still do whatever you want to do. You're better off not getting involved, engaged in any shape or form on social media. But live entertainment, I think, is still largely. I mean, the only trouble where your live performances are affected by it is if there's a group of online trolls and essentially they essentially lobby all the venues not to let you perform, and that is when it actually impacts your work. And that is, I mean, just look at the number of venues that cancelled Chubby Brown. Yeah. So he has got a track record of playing there for decades. I'm not a fan of what he does, but it should be anyone's decision. If you want to buy a ticket, go. And if you don't want to see it, don't buy a ticket. It's as simple as that. But
that's what it used to be like for everyone. Like if you didn't like them, like it's like Jim Davison used to play or whoever played. It's like, well, you don't like them, never went. It's like
exactly.
Everyone has a right to make a living. I mean, it's
exactly right. And now once you have got then some vigilante groups that then put pressure on venues, that then venues cancel certain events and all that. That is worrying. But essentially, in a way, you can't control it anyway because you don't know what nutcases are going to come after you. It's totally irrelevant of what you say or don't say because they make it up as they go along anyway. So therefore, you might as well not bother or not worry about it because it's outside your control anyway.
No, fair enough then. Well, talking about tours. You're currently, is your tour just about to end, or you're still in the middle of it, aren't you?
Ask me again next March. It's about to end next March. So
wow, okay. Well, so you just spoke before we started. You were just come back from Tunbridge Wells. I mean, how's it going? what's the crowds like now post-COVID? Is it?
That was interesting yesterday. Tunbridge Wells was surprisingly high number of people who were still wearing face masks.
Oh, okay.
Well, I mean, what can you say? I mean, that is all on a voluntary basis. That's not enforced. And that's just people's choice. They want to look like that. And good luck to them. So, but I would say overall, people are back in the theatres because, unlike, say, in Germany, there is no social distancing here and they can sell to capacity as it should be. And I would say the entertainment is thriving again, more or less.
It's a good thing. Good thing. Just on the touch on that. So Germany, they still, you're not allowed to play indoors. Is that still the case there?
Oh yeah, with with 25% capacity or something. I had my mother on the blower only a few days ago, and she said she'd been on the bus and she was asked for her vaccination card on a local bus. I mean, say no more. It's bloody nonsense.
Well,
because she's in her 80s. Now, if she wouldn't have had that card, what would they have done? Would they have kicked her out and then she had to walk home or what?
I mean, we're going a sidebar here, but I mean, the amount of authoritarians that come out of the woodwork with all of these passports and all that, and luckily, the majority of people are blowing this away, and it's not the prevailing wind anymore, which is bloody hell. That's a good thing. So,
yeah,
and long should it stay that way. Henning, you've been seen many times at Hastings. Why did you come along, and how did you get that football bug?
Well, because I moved to Hastings, I don't know, about 4 years ago, and my then girlfriend and I, we decided we wanted to move to the seaside, looked at a few places, Margate, stayed there for a week, and I mean, that is, unless you're fluent in Polish, you stand no chance. Then we went to Deal. That is just too small. You couldn't. I mean, it's lovely for long weekend, but we were in Deal for a week. Essentially, we ended up in the snooker hall 5 of the 7 evenings, and neither of us enjoys playing snooker. And that was the only thing you could do. And then Hastings is just right, isn't it? Because Hastings is small enough that you know everyone and big enough that there's always something happening.
Yeah.
And therefore that was a very easy decision, moving to Hastings. And then, I mean, I'm obviously a football fan, and then wherever I live, I would go and watch the local team. So, and luckily I didn't go to Hollington first time, but to Pilot Field. So that's how I support Hastings United. So, and I go there. I mean, it's just like part of the local scene, isn't it? It's like it's local colour, and support your local team. And I remember the first season I went, they weren't doing all that well at all. Same division, obviously, so but a lot closer to bottom end. And then they had replaced not only the manager but the whole team were playing in front of 300 people or something. And all I can say, it was a lot easier to get a cup of tea.
Well, I mean, Hollerton's loss is our gain. Yeah. I mean,
yeah.
But yeah, so following us for a while, you sort of say, turn up, follow your local team. But I see you cycle to Ashford. So I mean, you're going to away games, and I know you were there in your cycling gear next to obviously the great Gary Histed in his Mankini. So I mean,
we're a good pair, aren't we?
Yeah, we'll have to get you two together one day.
Yeah.
Well, talking of that game, because we had a quick a little sidebar before we go to questions. We one of the gents that we've spoken about before, CJ. I'm giving CJ a shout. He will be listening. He was the one that was having the argument with the steward. Do you remember the?
Yeah. Do you take fans away? Do you take fans away?
Well, yeah.
No, you tell me. Do you take fans away? Do you take fans away?
It's the power of alcohol. It really is.
And then they were going, Do you take fans away? No, do you take fans away?
Well, CJ.
If the people with the coat had been there, he would have definitely been taken away.
Oh no, it was a moment of, we were stuck in time there. It was beautiful.
He just wanted to know if Ashford take fans away, and he didn't get a good answer, did he?
The eagle eyes that he has. We were at East Grinstead last Saturday, and he spotted that the goalkeeper was wearing a tag. And we didn't believe him, obviously, but we were singing along, and the goalkeeper, who was great banter, at the end, I'll send you the picture after we finish this, showed off his lovely tag, and we were having debates on what offence he'd committed, and we did ask him a few times if he can actually go to away games. Is he allowed, or is that out of his zone?
Yeah.
But it was great value. I mean, you got to love non-league.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely. Goalie was attacked. That's fantastic. So did you find out what he had done?
I'm going to have to explore that. When I left, we hadn't found out at that point. I mean, there was various things that were alleged towards him, but we never got. I don't think we actually got the final comment. I think maybe we should make something up, which is the way in 2022. Right, moving on. We are going to move on to questions. Now, we have questions from our support base. Now, we also have questions from the 10 German Bombers German fan club of the Hastings United. But first of all, we'll go to Andy. Andy, he's a big fan of yours, by the way, and he's going to just say we're getting him a T-shirt made up with "Je suis main stand" written on it, because he is main stand royalty, and he's going to be at your gig next Friday.
Well, Margate, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, poor lad.
Yeah. And he asks, are you really there for the football, or are you there just gathering material?
Now, what material, Kenny? There is no material in any of this. No, I'm there. I want to see the football. I want to see goals. I want to see Tom Chalmers come down the line and all that. So the wings. So that's what I want to see.
Yeah. Well,
now it's the football, definitely. It's it makes you feel football, a nice cup of tea or a pint or six. So it's just great. Like, support the local football club and all that, and like all the wheeling, dealing that's going on, and then that is always the nice thing, isn't it? Like, everyone's giving it 100%. Like, the directors and all that shady dealings and all that.
That's the East Grinstead goalie. That was the East Grinstead goalie you're talking about again now.
Yeah.
No, and he also sent me a picture, which I'll send you later, which he sent me a picture of the Weiss beer glass that he's got from the Germany 1 England 5 game. Just so, yeah, you might want to throw some.
When was that?
Oh, it was Michael Owen. Michael Owen got a hat trick. So it was
talking about. Never heard of it.
Never heard. It never happened. Okay.
Was it the tournament where Germany went then on and played in the final, but England got pecking week before that? Is it that one?
There we go. Touche. Well, yeah. So, right, moving on. This is.
That's like me having a Weiss beer glass where it says Stalingrad 1941. Doing well early on, and then petering out.
Yeah, that was definitely it was away goals defeat, that one. Right. Yeah. This is from Johnny Wills. He's a big fan. He sent me some pictures of you and him where he's obviously tried to, I don't know, maybe sexually harass you or something. I don't know.
I get that a lot.
Yeah. He says, first of all, have you thought of putting some Hastings United content in your shows to raise our profile?
Well, I mentioned the youth. I do mention, not on stage, but so when I'm on the radio or something and something is being discussed. So yeah, I might know or put stuff about United on Twitter and all that. So that's all. Yeah, I mean, as part of the show, I don't know. I mean, yeah. You can be niche, but there is such a thing as too niche.
Yeah. Yes. And well, he's got another one for you here.
Also, then, say I had a gig in Ashford, so then, and then I would have to ask them if they take fans away and all of that.
Well, some people say Ashford get battered everywhere they go. There was 2-2.
Yeah.
Right, so he asks,
no petrol, no fans.
Exactly, no fans, no petrol. Yes, you've got a good memory. Right, when you were at the Brighton, this is John asking here, and then he saw you at Brighton, and he said a few years later he saw you at the Pilot Field. He says you looked a lot lankier, right? I'm sure that's what it says, lankier.
Yeah.
How did you grow 1 foot? And he's put 30.48 centimeters for you in that time, as it seems to you seem to have passed puberty. So
what I've done is tell him I didn't grow height-wise, I just shrank. I shrank sideways. So I give the appearance of being lankier because I'm not as chubby anymore. So that is how I've approached that issue.
Well, because he says, have you had some Spanish Inquisition type torture since living here?
Not physical, no physical torture.
Just mentally, yeah. Right, now we've got, head of the supporters club over in Germany, Robert Gruhl. He, first of all, he says, where do you get a decent loaf of bread in England?
Trinity Whole Foods in Hastings.
Apparently, according to Rob, this is the first thing a German asks when they come to England. I'm not German.
Everything else, I get all my stuff from Trinity Whole Foods in Hastings.
Okay.
Americana, isn't that? That's what that area is called here.
Yeah. And he also asks, what's your club over in Germany?
Schalke 04.
Okay.
But they can do one.
Right, then. So, John Gale asks, do Germans still watch Dinner for One every New Year's Eve?
Absolutely. It's for ones who don't know it, I mean, you can see it on YouTube, and it's essentially a story it's a sketch, 15 minutes of Freddie Frinton, Grimsby-born Freddie Frinton is in it, and essentially there is an old lady, and he's her butler, and then she always had the same friends over, like for dinner, like a general and so the vicar and whatever. So and over the years they've all died, and then he has to impersonate them all. So and then he essentially has to eat and drink for all of them. So he eats and drinks for 12 and gets increasingly hammered. And then there is lots of brilliant physical comedy of him tripping over stuff. So he's superb.
Yeah, no. Oh, good.
And we play that every New Year's Eve. So essentially, there's all the cable channels. You can start watching that at midday. And if you zap, it's 100% chance. If you change channels, you can watch that from midday till 1 in the morning for 13 hours solid. It will be on some channel.
Oh, brilliant. Well, that's the questions. So let's talk about this Saturday. Massive game.
We are going up.
And Chap, are you going to be able to make the game?
Yeah.
Excellent. Because if we win, I think it's every win or draw, we're up. So it should be marvellous scenes. Will you hang around for a little bit and celebrate with any of the players or fans?
Well, I don't know any of the players, but yeah, I definitely will be around and having a few with his dad. I got chatting with his dad in Ashford. So yeah, I will definitely be having a few sherbets when I'm there.
Yeah, I'm on bloody night.
You when you're going up, Chris. When you don't have to work on Sunday, I hope.
No, I'm on bloody night shifts Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So no drink, and I have to go. Unbelievable. And everyone knows that I do this podcast at work, so I can't hang on, I'm ill. That everyone knows I'm snookered, completely snookered.
No.
But they'll let me go in a little bit later. It just means I won't drink. I'll just make up for it.
And you will just hope now that we lose. And
I will be running around if we lose.
All happening this weekend.
I'll have everything thrown at me. I'll be celebrating if Haywards Heath win. No, I won't be. I want us to go up.
But we go up regardless. I mean, we could lose every game now and we would go up.
I know, it's ridiculous. 14 points ahead, loads of goals ahead as well. So it's happening.
And then next season, we're playing against all the giants of English football. Tooting and Mitcham and you name it.
Lewis. Not far from the Harvey's Brewery. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Horsham.
So what game are you looking forward to the most then in the new division?
In the new division?
Yeah.
Probably Lewis, or I think Kingstonians, I think, are on our league above, and that's where one of our best players, Daniel Ajakai, who played with us for a few years, and
the winger, he was phenomenal.
Yeah, he's banging goals in for them. So I look forward to seeing him.
Oh, I thought he had gone to Havant and Waterloo Will.
Yeah, and then he moved.
Ah, yeah. And where is that? Is that Landra Aziz? Is he still with? No, he's gone as well, isn't he?
No, he's gone. Yeah, Oh God, I think I'm not sure where he's gone. Oh.
And what happened here? You will know that, Chris. What happened to that Indian lad who was playing? He was like a forward, quite tall. He was on the left, and he had like a hair bun. So he was always staying there. He was subbed on about 3 years ago. He regularly got subbed on, and he seemed to have some potential. But he was always throwing his arms up and was calling for the ball, even though he was on the other wing and all that. And even if they wanted to, they couldn't get it to you now. So, and do you know what I mean? I think his surname started with D or something, but I'm not putting any money on that.
I'll have to research that one.
I've got the old programs here. Obviously, I collect programs. Here, this is the thing I think United have to sort. When you buy them tickets, and I know they don't want to pay tax on the money they make at the gates, I get that. But at least give someone a little ticket, a ticket stub that says what game you attended.
Yeah. No, I'm very old school like that. I would like old. I mean, it's all about. Yeah, well, we'll talk about tax, but the tickets themselves, it's always a nice memento. That's why I always buy a program, a printed
Same
program.
here.
Like went to East Grinstead Saturday. It's all this online crap. That's not a program.
No, absolutely right. Absolutely right. Last time when Wycombe Wanderers, they've got their tickets now only online and their program online. So the only thing what you can have now is a team sheet. And that is obviously better than nothing, but it's still like, you're not going to keep and print out like an online ticket and then file it away with all your proper tickets. It's just stupid.
Oh, nice. I have done stuff before with a lot of other, on this podcast with people talking about saving the printed program, because a lot of clubs don't see the use in it. And to me, it's just lazy. It's just, it can be done. It's a lot cheaper than it used to be in terms of production of these things. So there's not really any excuse. And, it's great for advertising as well, Well, look, Henning, this has been an absolute pleasure, chap. And please come on a round table with the fans.
Yeah.
At some point when you're free. You're busy tomorrow, aren't you? You're playing football.
Today.
Oh, you're playing football today?
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
The under-23.
We should tell the scouts, really. We should tell the scouts to come to William Parker Academy this evening.
Yeah.
Maybe I can get, because you were saying just how quickly players go from one team to another. Maybe, I don't know, if Gary is free this evening, he can come around, have a look, and maybe sign me up in time for Saturday.
Do you know what? I'm going to pass that on. Yes, I mean, Henning down the wing. So we'll see you Saturday. And please come on a round table. Lots of fans have bombarded me with messages and things like that. It's really fabulous that someone as esteemed as you.
I'll give it a rest.
But no, it'd be great to grab a beer with you at some point as well.
Yeah.
So look, Henning Wehn, thank you, sir. And
Bye,
I'll see you at the game, mate. See you at the game.
See you at the game. Bye-bye up to Hastings. Bye.
Bye.